I wanted to talk today about steel strikers for flint and steel. There's some really beautiful commercial strikers out there that different forges make, and there are just some really beautiful ones. There's Viking style. There is Scottish ones that are like shaped like a snail. There's some really artsy ones that look like a whale. Um, there's traditional colonial. There's Spanish Southwest style. There's every kind of steel striker out there, and some of them can be pretty pricey, having them forged and made custom for you. But if you're cash strapped and you can't really afford something like that, not to worry. You can make your own flint and steel kit very easily, and I'm going to show you how. Um, First of all, you're going to need a piece of chert. Now here in the U.S. we do not have flint. Flint is found in England and Europe. We have chert here, which is a kind of a cousin of it. And so if you look around, you can find pieces of like this red jasper and green chert. You'll want to test it to see if it throws sparks. Now for the steel striker, you can just usually find a good used file and cut it with a angle grinder with a cutting blade and just make a small steel that'll fit your needs. You're going to need to test them. I would say go to garage sales and pick them up for a dime or 25 cents. You can find these older files and test them, and then when you find one that sparks well, hang on to it. Now this is a striker, two strikers that I made actually from a mill bastard file. I made a little leather sheath for this one, and so what I did, I'll put this together. This was about a 6-inch mill bastard file with a chisel end, and using an angle grinder with a cutting blade, I cut it in half, and then I ground this edge up front here. Now you want to have a cup of water on hand when you're grinding to cool the steel so you don't lose the temper. So just dip it a little bit, and as you're doing this, I rounded the back where it had a tang, a rat tail tang to go into the handle, and I just cut that off and then I rounded it. This is great, having these sharp edges for scraping a ferrocerium rod, which you should also be carrying in your kit, so it'll scrape sparks on your ferro rod. But today what we're going to do is we're going to try and use this to start our fire. So the other thing you need is just a tin. You could use an Altoids tin. You could get a camera film tin, like these old-fashioned camera film tins. You can find these. You can go to arts and crafts shop and find stuff. So then the other thing you need, I would put some fat wood in there. You're going to need to make char cloth, and there's plenty of videos on how that can be done. And then for tinder material, nothing beats jute twine that you've cut into pieces and then shred it up. So for just really for a few coins, you can make your own flint and steel kit. So let's see if we can make a fire here. I'm doing this indoors because it's a very sunny, bright day out today, and I don't think it'd show up, and I don't want to wait around till nightfall. So I'm going to take a piece of this red jasper here, and I put my char on top of it. So the idea is I'm going to strike down on a sharp edge of this stone and try and kick the sparks onto the char cloth. . I'm getting a lot of sparks, but I'm not getting that char to take off, so I'm going to get a little bigger piece. And of course, this is why we practice. Practice so you can get these skills down. Alright, so I'm going to set the char on top here. Getting a lot of sparks, and they're landing in the nest in the tinder, but hasn't taken off just yet. Okay, let's try another piece. This is kind of more of a green shirt. Okay. We'll add more. Add some more char. There it went. See that? Ow! Ow! Burned hand. So now we throw this hot char into our nest. Of course, you know the drill. So it's a mix of getting the right There we go. So it's a mix of getting the right edge, the right kind of stone to work with your spark on the right kind of tinder. It's a union of tinder, stone or chert, steel, your skills. You have to bring it all together, and that's what makes it work, is all three of those things. So the main point that I wanted to talk about is that you don't have to spend a lot of money if you can't or you don't want to, and buy a custom-made striker. They're great. I got my eye on a snail-shaped one, but you can make do with a file, and it'll work fine. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Get out there and practice those skills, okay? All right, we'll chat you up later. Have a good one.